I'm drowning in my history, prisoner of past defeats. Tell me what the future holds. Tell me, baby. Terrified of things to come. Paralyzed I can't.
Do you like Nintendo? Do you like Rare? Do you like bananas? Do you like the Super Nintendo? And more importantly, do you like Donkey Kong Country? If the answer is yes, then this video is for you. Now, we all know that Donkey Kong Country is an absolute beast, boasting silicon graphic technology, fast-paced action, tricky platforming, insane bosses and bananas. Lots and lots of bananas. However, there is one eternal question that has stumped learned academics for 30 years now, caused fortune tellers to muse and think tanks to explode, and that's simply what are the top 10 best, most challenging levels in the game. To answer this question, I painstakingly decided to play through the entire game and leave no stone unturned on my quest to select only the very best cuts from this behemoth of a game. There are, however, a few rules I will be sticking by. Number 1. The levels must be fun and challenging. Number 2. I can only pick a maximum of 2 levels from each world as to ensure a definite unbiased decision. 3. Only 1 water level and snow level is allowed. Number 4. The level only makes the list if it grips me. If it doesn't float my boat, it doesn't necessarily mean that I hate the level, it's just not challenging enough and it's not going to make the cut. Number 5. I must have really struggled with the level more than others to beat it in order for it to make the list. And finally, number 6. The levels I've selected will have been put into an order from easiest to hardest. Again, this is just my own personal opinion. So there you have it, blokes and birds. You didn't ask for it. You didn't expect it. You probably don't need it, but here it is, a list of what I feel are the toughest stages in the whole game, from the easiest to the hardest. I really want to encourage you all to agree or disagree with me in the comment section. I want to hear your top 10 list of what you think are the most challenging levels in Donkey Kong Country. I mean, my list is subjective, so also tell me why you are struggling with those particular levels on your way to battle that no good King K rule. Okay, so full start, let's begin here with my list of the top 10 most awesome challenging levels in Donkey Kong Country. Number 10, it's Ropey Rampage. Now, this being the second level in the game, it's absolutely phenomenal. Not only is it once again set in the jungle, but it features some cracking weather effects with the Kong's environment bucketing down with rain. There's also some nifty lightning effects too. Maybe it's just me, but I get major Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty vibes with this level. The monkeys must indeed brave the elements, unfortunately, and battle across bottomless pits, climbing and swinging on ropes, and also clambering across treetops to grab goodies. Although this is an easy level, it's the one stage that for me starts to get a little bit challenging. This is because of the armadillo enemies, who prove to be quite a nuisance to bounce on. Now, this is a theme that would definitely be a factor going forward for sure, as Rare put them in the most inconvenient of places, leading me to take a cheap hit time and time again. They can indeed be defeated, but great care must be taken, as take a hit and you're going to be seriously hampered. Also, there's some zingers waiting near the end of the stage, and these are also planted all over the game. So it really is a taste of things to come. Ropey Rampage is at number 10 because it's still bags of fun. I really enjoy levels that have weather effects in them, and this level gets a special place on the list because as the Kongs make their way to the end of the stage, the rain dissipates, the sun comes out, and this was such an incredible element that Rare added. So it was almost like an attention to detail and something that probably didn't even need to be included, but it did, and it certainly made me come to my decision putting this on the list. Number 9, it's fast, it's furious, it's Barrel Cannon Canyon. It's another jungle level with multiple paths, and it features fast moving barrel cannons requiring pinpoint accuracy that must be utilised to navigate the Kong safely through the stage. There's a nice rhythmic feel to this one, and it's a small taste of things to come, as later on these become harder and in some cases wholly necessary to finishing the stage. It is, however, super cool because at first glance it looks complex and a wee bit confusing. I did find a cheeky shortcut right away and I was worried that I'd missed some bonus rooms. However, it turns out all I missed was a Winky token. You know, the one that Cranky keeps moaning about when you go to visit him. Watch out for the Kremlins here. The bouncing blue ones are the most dangerous, whilst the green ones are much slower and easier to deal with. There are also others who are just bouncing up and down in one spot, so they can be tackled quite simply. Mad props to this cool hidden bonus room. I don't know why, but I get such a kick out of finding secrets this way. BCC is a touch harder than Ropey Rampage, as there is a tricky barrel cannon section at the end, whilst avoiding zingers is the name of the game. It's quite simply a challenging level with lots of fun sprinkled in, and you can either take your time or speed through it like a demon depending on your preference. Number 8, Minecart Carnage. Now, I'm sure many of you were expecting for me to go with the second minecart stage, that being Minecart Madness. After all, it's much later on in the game and it's supposed to be more difficult. Well, I'll be honest, I died less times on that stage than I did on this one. I actually beat that one quite easily and I didn't find it to be too challenging at all. There is, however, something about this first foray into an out-of-control minecart that kind of sticks with me. I guess because for me, even as a kid seeing this level, it comes completely out of left field. I mean, there I am, happily platforming, taking my time, collecting nanas, and I was in many ways dictating the pace. Then I take a trip to World 2 and OMG, the game does a complete 180 on me and dictates the pace. All I can do is jump and try and survive a barrage of tricky traps. Whilst I love to hate this level, it does its job really well in that I have to play by its rules. So you jump into the car and it's a fast moving obstacle course that makes the Krypton Factor look like a walk in the park. Failure is simply not an option. You have to jump over abandoned carts and avoid Kremlins who are hurtling towards you, hoping to claim on their insurance. Yes, it's horrible, but that feeling of suspense is just something I cannot deny. It can be super frustrating towards the end, and I was just praying that it would end soon. The music also adds to my anxiety. Yes, my friends, I was on the edge of my seat with this one. It is the second level of stage 2, but could easily have been placed as the final level in this world, as in my opinion it's the hardest stage so far, and is even harder than the Millstone Mayhem and Stop and Go station, which came right after it. My many deaths are why Minecart Carnage made it to number 8 on the list, a truly torturous level that evokes a feeling of dread every time. For the number 7 pick, we need to take a nice trek into the forest of Vine Valley and a level aptly named Forest Frenzy. No, it's not a relaxing ramble for a peaceful forest, it's a nightmare of a stage with some beautiful visuals. Seeing the Kongs enter the level through a hole in the tree was something I'm not really sure I ever noticed before. Poor Donkey and Diddy must work their way across more ropes, which seemingly have a mind of their own. There's also a multitude of obstacles to avoid here, with crazy zinger pans which are a bitch to get past, plus more of those bouncing Kremlins, and don't even get me started on this section here where I must play chicken with a bunch of vultures who won't budge for love nor money. Now this was a step up from Minecart Carnage for sure, and although I bit the bullet many times, I still think this level is very innovative. It was made all the more harder because I couldn't find a single bonus room here. I know, don't hate on me. And that just shows you how clever the devs were in keeping the player distracted with a plethora of ongoing obstacles when you grab those ropes. Number 6, Treetop Town. At number 6 is Treetop Town, and funnily enough it comes right before Forest Frenzy and is in my opinion the hardest stage out of Vine Valley, so I really feel it should have been placed further on in the world. This one takes place across, as the name suggests, a series of tree houses and bridges across bottomless pits, which also once again brings back our old friends the barrel cannons. Believe me when I say that if you don't take your time and press your button precisely in the barrels, you will fail. You must be incredibly precise, and some may scoff at my words, but if you die on this stage, then it's really your own fault. Yes, it's challenging for sure, but it's fair challenge. Unless you're a seasoned speedrunner or you know this level like the back of your hand, you will die many times before victory can be achieved, and boy did I die many times. However, the devs want you to complete the stage because there's this section here with cannon barrels where I should by all rights be dead, but I was saved by an invisible barrel which blasted me right back to the beginning of this sequence. I was on absolute tenterhooks with this stage, but that feeling when I finally beat it was absolutely incredible. It was just like watching Tron for the first time. Don't get me wrong, I cursed the stage, especially when those blue gremlins once again made an appearance and caught me off guard, but I loved it all the same. It was challenging and far from easy. Number 5, Loopy Lights. What is it with Donkey Kong Country and lights? The light gimmick has been used previously with levels like Torchlight Trouble and Blackout Basement, both of which didn't make the list as they are far too simple. I had little trouble beating them. However, Loopy Lights and the Final World Chimp Caverns really pushed my buttons. I thought I was done with these stages. Apparently Rareware didn't think so, and now Donkey and Diddy must keep jumping into multiple light switches scattered throughout the stage to illuminate the area for a few brief moments before darkness makes platforming almost impossible. Jesus, this was tough. Once again I was at the mercy of the game and was a slave to its crazy lighting shenanigans. I constantly screwed up and kept missing jumps and would tumble down these bottomless pits constantly until I realised that I need to hurry forward each time I hit a switch. Even after figuring it all out, it took all my will just to fight my way to the end. I didn't think I would ever beat this level. The whole experience felt like I was wading through thick glue. I got caught out by the zingers at the end also, several times. Plus these jumping, snapping crocodiles nipping at my heels was really unnerving. It was a true test of reflexes, patience and restraint, as I'm sure that had I died any more on the stage, my copy of Donkey Kong Country would have ended up in a landfill somewhere, blown into a million pieces. Yikes, I really needed a lie down after this level. Number 4, Platform Perils. Now you would think the final level in Donkey Kong Country would be the hardest, but no, it only reached number 4 on my list as I didn't find it all that difficult. I'm sure you're probably going to disagree with me, however I completed this one in about 12 minutes, quicker than the rest of the other entries. I'm certainly not saying that it's not challenging, but you shouldn't rush through it as I did, because I died about 6 or 7 times as I got way too hasty. Essentially the game takes place on wooden platforms and the Kongs have to jump across them and make use of these lifts with arrows on them. Stepping on them moves them in the direction they are supposed to go in. After a few seconds however, the arrow platforms vanish and the Kongs must jump onto another one or onto a wooden platform. Enemies will try and get in your way. There's naughties on some of the platforms, clumps litter the level, and finally crushers wait on essential arrow platforms. They can't be jumped on and can only be destroyed with a well-timed barrel throw. This gets a bit hairy towards the end and was where the majority of my deaths came from. Still, I got through it quite quickly and I really don't believe it's as hard as its reputation states. Number 3, Tanked Up Trouble. Now once again it's a strange decision to have Tanked Up Trouble as the first stage in Chimp Caverns. As compared to Loopy Lights it's far more difficult. This stage takes frustration to a whole new level. This time however, rather than having to constantly put the lights on, the Kongs are stuck on elevators foraging for precious fuel to keep them running. Otherwise, unlike Yaz, the only way is down. TTT is not only a test of skill, but you really need to be on point and precise, and one mistake could see you falling to the bottom of the screen faster than you can say blueberry pie. I kept screwing up time and time again, but you know what? I didn't hate this level at all. At this point in the game it fully expects you to put everything you have learned into practice. You have to randomly jump on and off the elevator at various points in very quick succession. There are enemies on platforms guarding fuel or Kong letters. There are enemies directly in front of you, and there's even times when you need to move a tyre quickly to the right to jump to grab more fuel before dropping back down on the same elevator. It's imperative you collect all the fuel. You might get away with not picking up 1 or 2, but trust me, you don't want to make a lot of progress and have it destroyed right in front of your eyes because you didn't collect enough. Number 2, Snow Barrel Blast. At number 2 is the infamous snow level Snow Barrel Blast. Now this is the first level in World 4. It's very fiendish and had to have been designed by Satan himself. It's an absolute winter nightmare. It starts off quite chilled on snowy mountaintops. Progression to the right makes the snow fall faster and thicker, flooding the screen, resulting in a major snowstorm where your visibility becomes somewhat limited. Now adding some crazy vultures into the mix, and of course the cannon barrels, which are the level's main gimmick, and they will all push your skills and reflexes to the limit. You will have a very tough level indeed with this one. The timing has to be super precise here with the barrels. You can't rush this, and patience is so important here. Remember, rushing will only get you killed faster. But you know what? I love this level so much because it doesn't mess around at all. I didn't mind dying over and over because I'd become seriously addicted to beating the stage. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh wow, Lucas, there is a shortcut which cuts out the difficulty, so you probably used that. Well, yes I did. But I also beat the level legitimately as well at the same time. Granted, it took me a few goes, but that feeling of satisfaction went after the crazy barrel sections when I finally had my feet on firm bit slippery ground was one of the best feelings I've ever had, and I hadn't felt like that in quite a while with many of my retro games. I know people really hate this level, and a lot of them would probably rank this as number 1, and understandably so, but I didn't struggle as much with this stage as I did with my number 1 pick. A tough level that really made me earn my Weetabix. Number 1. So Lucas, I hear you cry, if Snow Barrel Blast isn't number 1, then what could the toughest level be? Well, this may surprise some, but it's a rather nasty water stage chock full of enemies called Poison Pond. This is for me my Achilles heel, and in my humble opinion the toughest stage in the whole game. The underwater labyrinth is coated with green chemicals which gives me major Jack Napier vibes. It's painfully difficult with a multitude of aquatic enemies popping into view. Those devious devs have even added in some mincers which painfully populate most of this level with their crazy patterns. How hard is this stage? Well, try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light. Yes, it's insanely difficult, and I died more times here than in Snow Barrel Blast. No matter how careful I was, I just kept getting caught out. Don't even get me started on the final stretch of underwater obstacles that purposely litter the end of the stage. I just kept making a lot of silly mistakes, but my god, it's extremely long, and I needed a lot of mental stamina to get through this nightmare of a level. It's not a completely unfair level, as they throw On Guard the Swordfish in there to help try and even the odds somewhat. Even the last level of the game, Platform Perils, wasn't as hard as this, which is why it wasn't number 1 on this list, because I beat it rather quickly in comparison to the other stages. So there you go guys, that is my top 10 list of the toughest stages in Donkey Kong Country. Now I really don't mind, as I said at the beginning, anyone disagreeing with my choices here. Again, I'd love to hear your personal top 10 list and your reasons for choosing them, your experiences, so hit me up in the comments section, and if you have enjoyed this video, just show me some love, hit the like button, and also subscribe to Swaggerbond to be notified when I upload new content. It's been a lot of fun making this video. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you again for another retro gaming video. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.